I'm Alan Robarge, a relationship coach and psychotherapist. Welcome to the New Love Addiction, where we're not talking about addiction, we're talking about attachment injuries and healing attachment trauma. On this video, let's explore some strategies that people use who are emotionally avoidant or emotionally unavailable. And how, if you're on the receiving end of any of these strategies and behaviors, it's going to feel crazy making. Another word is it's invalidating. It's going to feel invalidating. Positive, healthy, secure, functional relating has a undercurrent, a reoccurring experience of validation, of being seen, being known, being heard, being understood. Yes, I get you. Yes, I could participate in conversation. Yes, I could energetically be present and stay engaged emotionally, stay engaged through eye contact, stay engaged through touch, stay engaged by referencing things we've talked about in the past and bringing them up again just to let you know, actually, I have been listening. Actually, I know what is going on in your world. If that doesn't happen, if you're not getting validation, the opposite happens. You're getting invalidation. And the way that this could be experienced in your body is, it's that sound of the needle on a record that it just skips and it's just completely disorienting, it's disinforming. The crazy making part means it's confusing in your brain, but for your body, there's this complete dissatisfaction. It's a discomfort. It's sometimes it's literal anxiety, sometimes it's nauseousness, sometimes it's feeling very antsy and unsettled. So it's all of these experiences when we're relating to someone who's not participating. We're relating to someone who is emotionally absent, emotionally withdrawn. So on this video and a couple other videos following this, let's just break down some of the, to notice the behavior. I'm calling them strategies. I don't necessarily believe that the person who is emotionally unavailable is very consciously trying, to withhold emotional connection, unless we're moving in the direction of really looking at abuse dynamics and abusive relationships. But I'm not referring to that. I'm more referring to two people who are coming from a place of insecure attachment and who are ultimately scared of vulnerability and scared and do not have the tools to know how to connect and relate to each other. So one default way is to protect oneself from being vulnerable and to stay very guarded. And this is the phrase, we understand this phrase, having a wall around oneself. So if you are relating, this could be to a partner, a romantic partner, this could be a very good friend, this could be a parent, this could be a family member, and you're coming together, attempting to have intimate exchange, intimate, vulnerable, emotionally open connection and conversation, and it's not happening. And when it does not happen, that impacts your nervous system because your brain responds it's going to feel like you're being rejected. Now, it's all the more complicated, it's all the more confusing when the person who is emotionally unavailable, this is all very subtle and sophisticated and covert, it's hidden, it's not overt, and that the person is not outright being mean, the person is not a jerk. That if it's a family member, that this family member is loving, that they're a reasonably okay person, they're a kind person, but nonetheless, you're finding this incredible, it's that feeling of spinning your wheels, it's that feel, and if we do this long enough, we exhibit what's referred to as learned helplessness. We get stuck in a gridlock feeling. So to talk about how does this, what are some ways to identify when you notice that you're being invalidated? One strategy, and again, I don't believe this is conscious. I don't think a person is just thinking about this, behind the scenes. But if a person is trying to protect him or herself from being emotionally engaged and emotionally open, and their style of attachment is a bit more on the avoidance side, one way they will have adopted to stay avoidant is through their personality structure. And they've developed a personality that accommodates supporting keeping people at bay and staying disconnected. And this could be highly problematic when they are in a family with other family members who do not want that level of disconnect and actually want to be closer. We want to create emotional connection, and yet it's not happening. And when it doesn't happen, if you're on the receiving end, you feel denied. There's this feeling like you're being denied, you're being rejected. Again, third time I'm saying it, I don't believe it's totally conscious, like the loving family member who is afraid or does not have the skill for this level of emotional openness. I don't believe this person is saying, hey, I'm going to reject my other family member. But we have to, as the phrase says, call a spade a spade. That's what's happening, and that's what is experienced on the receiving end for the partner or the person or the family member who is attempting to initiate and reach out and get more emotional connection. So one strategy, and again, asterisk, I don't know if it's like a strategy, that's the best word to use here, but the way that this will manifest is a person could work very hard in their presentation of their personality to be very nice, just so nice. And there is something over time when you're on the receiving end and you observe this that is actually begins to feel surreal and bizarre. So I'm not suggesting that then if you want more emotional connection that you would want the other person to be mean. We're not taking the opposite of the word nice and saying we want this person to treat you poorly. But the niceness becomes a kind of vehicle or a tool to create a distraction from the person ever actually being called out or acknowledged for their emotionally withholding behavior or the fact that they're emotionally unavailable. And that it almost can be a kind of overcompensation, so that if you are in the position where you are unhappy with the relating and you feel compelled, you must say something. You must say, please, let's connect differently. I would love for us to be more emotionally open. It is going to be received and experienced as if you're being critical, and the way that it indirectly is being pointed towards that you're critical is that the other person will respond with being very nice. And this could be a kind of taking on saying things or behaviors that are just incredibly cheery. And I once heard from the poet Robert Bly, when he was talking about growing up in an alcoholic dysfunctional family, he used the phrase, he was recruited to be cheery. And in fact, he was talking about alcoholic systems and saying, when you live in a dysfunctional family, especially one where there is addiction, there are going to be some members who are recruited to be cheery. And this is what I'm pointing towards, that there's this aspect that when there is stress and distress in the family system, some people respond by thinking they need to come across as good, and they need to come across as accommodating, and they need to come across as very nice. And the challenge is that sometimes their truth gets lost in that, where they're not really present or sharing who they are. They're hiding behind being nice. And for the person on the receiving end who's trying to have an authentic or a more authentic connection, that when the person that wants more emotional connection bumps up against this nice presentation, it's going to feel weird. It's going to feel like, okay, like, can we put the kitten calendar down? Can we not talk in terms of Hallmark cards? And can we have a real honest talk about, hey, let's improve our relating. Let's improve how we're connecting with each other. It does not have to be heavy. It does not have to be painful. It doesn't have to be about grief and suffering. It doesn't have to be about blame and somebody failed somebody. It's just simply saying, it's like saying, let's renovate the living room. And if you want to renovate the living room, you sort of talk about, okay, what's working and what's not working. And for some people, it's just a matter of a new paint color. Let's paint the room. Let's go to Home Depot. Let's look at these paint chips and let's paint. For other people, it's really saying like, you know what? Let's get rid of this entire wall. Let's just knock this wall out because I realize we don't even need, let's just open up the living room to the kitchen. You get the idea. You know, I could go on a little bit more about this renovation metaphor, but we just want more connection, but sometimes we bump up against the very ingrained, sophisticated obstacles and the personality structures that have been designed to avoid connection. And one way that people do this in a very sophisticated, loving, positive way is that they're very nice. There's not a lot of room to move in that place. So if you identify this behavior, it might give you compassion for the other person that you're working with who's in your family, or if it's in your romantic partner relationship. It will also let you understand why it's so confusing that if they're so nice and you know their intention is to, that they're generally a kind person, how is it that this nice that I'm having or the other person is having this response of feeling invalidated? Very confusing. So I hope the point of this video, I hope the content here helps sort through some of the confusion, and that you can make sense of this to give you clarity and to calm your nervous system down, and also give yourself some comfort so you don't feel as invalidated. I am Alan Robarge. Thank you for watching this video. If you want to join a Facebook group of the same title, The New Love Addiction, please do. You can find that group on Facebook, and it's a bunch of lovely, wonderful people who are exploring these ideas and want to chat about these ideas. Also, this video is part of a series of videos or ongoing videos. And if you want to continue to receive updates or notifications, go ahead and subscribe, and then it'll show up on every time you log into YouTube. You'll see the latest and the newest videos that have been uploaded. And then finally, to learn more about me, please go to alanrobarge.com. I do work with clients remotely over the phone. If that interests you, all the information is on the website. And again, thank you for watching.